Today, we're going to begin our study of the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. If you take a look at this picture here in the middle of your screen, we see the United States flag and we see the Soviet Union flag. And that's because the Cold War was a rivalry between these two countries. But today we need to find out what caused this rivalry between the countries, what caused this problem, and what were some of the effects of that rivalry. If we take a look at our objective, it says, I can explain the causes and effects of the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the USSR, also known as the Soviet Union, and the Red Scare. So today we're going to take a look at the causes and effects of this rivalry, as well as the Red Scare. Let's start with what caused this rivalry. If we remember back to Friday, we learned that when World War II ended, Germany was divided up into 4 zones. Remember, 3 of those zones came together and had a democracy, but the Soviet Union was left by itself because it had a communist government. And that is going to be the first problem here that's going to develop the Cold War rivalry. The goal of the Soviet Union was to spread communism. Communism is a type of government where the government owns and controls everything. The government owns and controls businesses and what is being produced, how much it's being produced, and how much items are selling for. This is where the government controls property. People don't own property. The government owns property. The government gives everybody the food that they'll need. The government provides the housing. The government provides the money that they need. This is not a free type of government where people have the choice to choose what they want. And because the government has so much control in communism, this idea was feared by Americans. They did not want communism to spread to other countries. So while the goal of the Soviet Union was to spread the idea of communism to other countries, the United States wanted to stop the spread of communism. This was also known as the containment policy. If you see in the word containment, we have a root word, contain. So I want you to think about a container. We use containers to keep items inside that we don't want to spread. We don't want it to go anywhere. And essentially, the United States wants to take a container and stick communism inside of it. It doesn't want communism to get out, and it doesn't want it to spread. Instead, they want to encourage the opposite of communism, which is a democracy, where people have freedom to own property, where people have the freedom to own and control their own businesses, which is where we have capitalism, where people can own their businesses, people can work and earn money. This is going to be a difference now between the Soviet Union and the United States because of the governments. One of the effects of the Cold War rivalry was what is known as the Red Scare. The Red Scare is this fear of communism, and this fear spread throughout the United States. This picture here is an example of a propaganda poster that would have been from the Cold War time period. It says, "The Red Menace is real." And this idea of red is referring to the red in the Soviet Union flag, as if the Soviet Union is a menace that's out to get people. And at the bottom, it says, "Report all suspected communist activity." This propaganda poster is encouraging people to report anything that seems suspicious, anything that might be connected to communist activity. In our next video, we're going to talk about some of the effects of the Red Scare in the United States. So now you're going to watch your part 2 video for your social studies today.